Hi, Michelle here from Your Productivity Pulse. Several months ago, I had the crazy idea to start my own podcast, and I had an opportunity to attend Kim's free workshop on how to build a podcast, what you need to do, and some different ideas that you could just to get started. Well, after that, it really sparked some ideas for me, so I reached out to her and booked a one-to-one appointment just to have a conversation about whether or not it was going to be the right thing for me to start building a podcast. Well, after that 1 hour, I knew that it wasn't just the right thing, but it was what I needed to do like right then. So we talked it over, and from there, I booked in the next part of her program, which was a 14-day intensive where she was helping me through step by step everything that I needed to do to get my podcast up and running. It was an amazing process, and I can't say enough about everything that she did to help me through, from tech challenges to reviewing content to giving me the encouragement when I needed to. I thank you so much, Kim, and I'm so excited to see what's going to happen next with my podcast and yours. Thanks so much, Kim.
Hello there, beautiful women. It is Kim Parkinson, and you are listening to Podcasting for Your Spiritual Business. And for the month of February, we are going to be talking about visibility. I absolutely love this topic because it is really the root of your podcast, right? This is what we are all striving for every time we record and every time we publish. We are looking for more visibility with ourselves, with our business, and just for our voices. So with visibility also comes a few things that maybe we are afraid of, right? So one of the things that we might feel that we are constricted in is recording video versus audio. And then maybe it is the idea that if I put myself out there, then we have people that may say things to us that we don't want to answer, or we don't know how to answer, or maybe they're just mean, right? There are always going to be the trolls that are out there. So we're going to start with a couple of different pieces here. Podcast visibility has a lot to do with several different buckets. As we've always talked about, I love my buckets. I have lots of buckets. And so visibility is a couple of different parts. We have the visibility that is organic, and that is episodes that we've talked about before with your podcast name, with your podcast description, with your podcast titles. Those are all organic, things that people can search for in podcast players. And then they find your podcast through keyword searches. That requires you to have a keyword bank, and then just keep up with that and change it often. I have changed my podcast title several times since we launched last June, and I'm okay with it. I haven't changed my cover art just yet. I will, but I have. I want to find the right cadence. And you know what? Maybe that will never happen. Maybe I'll change it and tweak it all the time. I'm okay with it. Do I do it every month? No. Maybe every 3 months or so, I'll take a look at it and look at and change things. Same with the podcast description. I've changed that a couple times already. And actually, it's ready for a refresh. So I'm going to be doing that this month as well. And then your episode titles. I'm always going over episode titles with clients and talking about how we can maybe tweak them. If we see a specific episode has stats that are super low, then I will go in and I will go and update those titles to be something maybe a little bit more keyword rich, or maybe something that starts with like a how-to, or, the 5 top tips and things like that. People behind the scenes, that's another great one too. People have that inquisitive mind. And so being able to showcase a different title to kind of reach for that might be the right answer if your podcast isn't getting the downloads that you want it to get. But there are other types of visibility. So we also have visibility that is on your website. Now, on your website, that is actually crawlable by Google and by Bing and all the rest of those things. But that may require that you create a blog post, which is actually effort-based. Or it may require that you also have some type of an embed code. So that embed code can be found usually in your podcast host. And so you would add that there. Now, there's also other types of visibility, right? So the other type of visibility would be completely effort based. And this means that you're posting about it. This means that you're creating reels, you're creating stories, maybe you're creating carousels. Maybe you're doing a newsletter. Maybe again, that would be the blog post, right? If you don't have it automatically sent by an embed. So there are a few different ways that visibility can be done, and whether or not, again, that is organic or whether that is effort based. You have to make that decision on which one it is. And sometimes that can be scary as well, right? When you think about all the pieces that go along with that, you think, oh, how am I going to do all of this? How am I going to keep up with every 3 months taking a look at my description and my title name? Every 3 months, taking a look at all of my titles. Every 3 months, I want to take a look at my stats. And then every week, I want to post about my episode. I want to post. Here's the thing. Only do what you can do and only do them when you want to do them. When you find it's the most important to do it is typically maybe about I'm going to say 6 weeks or so before you make any type of a product launch, and then talk about it on a regular basis. Maybe 6 weeks is too long too. Maybe you want to shorten that to only 2 weeks or 3 weeks. What you want to do is make sure that it fits in your lifestyle, that you are driving people to the podcast the way you want them to come in and how you want them to be found. Now, I would not drive them to any kind of new episodes if you are being inconsistent with your podcast recording. I would definitely make sure that if that is the case, you're always sending them back to some kind of an episode that you have already published. So starting today in my 28-day podcast growth activation program, I put it out there to the women that are in the program and asked if they wanted to be part of a visibility challenge for the month of February. And I got a couple yeses, and I'm super excited about that. And I got a couple, can I do this at the second half of the month? Yes, of course, right? So not every day. Here's the other thing. A lot of challenges will say to you, I want you to do this every single day. And that's how you're going to, yeah. If you did this every single day, you probably are going to get more views, more people, whatever. But I'm starting off slow. I'm a 5'1" human design projector. I have amazing skills at being able to tell you and myself the next steps, but I don't always have that energy to follow through, right? I'm really good at telling you how to do it, but not real good at following through. Do as I say, not as I do, right? So, and that's just my energy. That's just my projector energy. I really try hard. So today, first thing I did was I created a video for my program, and then I went right in and created a little reel. Now, I chose a little bit of a different path for my reel, and I have a little sneak peek here. Next week, we have an episode with a really good friend of mine, a woman I've been in her program and in her Facebook group for a long time, and she is amazing at teaching people how to get more visible on camera. And if that scares you, you definitely want to listen in next week. But she had this really cool tip for me about my reels, and I already started it. So if you are on my Facebook page or if you are on my Instagram, maybe you'll already see what I have already put into place. But if you haven't, that's okay. The episode will be out next week, and that is thoroughly explained, and I'm shocked at it when I hear it for the first time. So we talk about it a little bit more. But in this visibility challenge, I have chosen that path because it's the path of least resistance for me. It made it so much easier when Jamie told me what to do. So I know I'm teasing you for next week because I already know what's going on, but you don't yet. It's okay. You'll find out. But for this week, can you go onto social media and maybe do a story? Stories are easy, right? Do a story, even with you B-roll or anything like that, and do a story where you are talking about an old episode. Or maybe you take a look at your podcast name and you just tweak your name just a little bit with a couple more keywords. Doesn't mean that you have to change your cover art, doesn't mean you have to change your intro or how you introduce your episodes or anything like that. It is just you changing it host level so that it can be found a little bit more organically. I have noticed by doing some client stats in the past month or so that everyone that had been placing in categories in different categories. So Apple and Spotify have what they call categories, and you can be found in these categories if you're like the top 250 of that in each country too, by the way. So every country has their own. And so sometimes you can be you can be top 100 in your category, but it's top 100 in, say, Portugal, right? So it's not here in the United States, but it's somewhere else. Doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means that it's there. So I noticed over the last month or so in January, there must be a deluge of people that have been sending out new episodes because none of my regular clients that have been charting, so to speak, including myself, have been charting. We've all kind of dropped off the charts. And that just to me tells me that there have been a lot of people that have put a lot of more keywords in there that are being found that are higher up. So now is the time to really drill that down and take a look at those keywords and say, what is out there? When you put in the keywords that you have, what's out there? What other podcasts are out there with those names? Because somebody new has come across the board and they have kicked you off of the charts. So take a look and just kind of see where maybe you fall. Can you tighten your keywords up? Can you tighten up your description? Can you tighten up a few episodes? And if that doesn't work, then maybe the effort-based is going to work and you just need to talk about it a little bit more in the socials or in your newsletter even. That could be another case right there. So visibility comes in a lot of different fashions. We also briefly talk about visibility as a video. Now, not just video as in YouTube or YouTube Shorts, but video as in live feeds, webinars, or maybe you are visible just doing reels. Those are really hard sometimes. I did one this morning, but I had just come in from feeding the chickens, so my hair was a mess, and I still went with it because I just wanted to get it done. And at that point, that's where I'm at. So sometimes visibility is scary, right? Now, as far as this particular week in visibility, the challenge, how I'm doing this challenge is you only have to post 3 times each week. I am not going all crazy for this because I want to start off nice and easy, like I mentioned. And it's can be scary, it can be hard, and really it's just a muscle that we need to kind of like build upon. I joined a challenge last year where we had in a particular group, we had to post, I think it was every single day, and we got some points or something like that. And at the end of the day, if you got so many points, you got like a free session with somebody. So that was a totally different challenge than this. My challenge is you do this and you're going to get more listeners to your podcast. That's just how it is. So if you want to join the challenge, it is a free challenge. Just send me an email at kim@kpcreativemedia.com and just say, hey, I'd like to join the challenge. And then every day that I post something, I will send you a little reminder. And then what I do is I send you a link to mine that I have posted. And then we can just share together. And I invite you to send me your link so that I can share and I can comment and bring that algorithm up for you and more visibility for your posts and more visibility for your podcast as well. I am just inviting you to maybe take a few of these little tips and tricks, and I didn't deep dive into any of them today. This is an overview of visibility for sure. But I'm just giving you a little bit of an idea of maybe a couple of things that you can do. And if you don't want to join my challenge and you just want to do it on your own, challenge yourself, do it. Do it. And you want to post more than 3 times a week, do it. If you want to post less than 3 times a week, do that too. It's okay. Whatever you want to do. It is just that one next step to be found, to allow people to see what it is that you do and allow people to hear the voice and the impact that you're making today. That is really all we are here to do today. And that is really all I am looking for, to get people into your world, because the more people that are listening to your podcast, the more people that are going to be in your world, and the more people are going to be moving into your programs or into your coaching or whatever it is that you offer. And that is ultimately what we are in business to do, right? So, all right, I think that's it. I really do, because I really feel like right here, this is a good place to start because we're talking about visibility. I've given you a bunch of different pieces, little pieces of visibility that you can get started on, and then definitely make sure that you come back next week for Jamie's episode. It is absolutely spectacular. It's a little bit longer. I think it's probably like 35, 40 minutes long, but lots of great information in it. So if you have time next week, make sure that you stop on by again, because you're going to want your pen, paper, and going to take lots of notes. She's got some great information. So until then, where your voice flows, your business grows. And I can't wait to see you again and talk to you again next week. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Podcasting for Spiritual Women. If you would like more strategy and tips and some tricks on how to make your podcast better, I recommend that you join my newsletter list. You can find that at kpcreativemedia.com/newsletter. Until next time.